Hi, this is Taipan for shanzai.com, and we're back here finally with the follow-up video for the Wits A81E 7-inch tablet that we've explored a little bit briefly last week with a very detailed unboxing. For those of you who haven't seen that and want to know more about the actual hardware itself, I recommend you go back, check out that video first, and then come back and watch this one. Today's video is going to focus on the Android 2.1 installation and performance for the actual product and what you can expect from that. Speaking of that, actually, to be honest, we did push very hard to get this product earlier from the manufacturer, and they released it a little bit earlier to us than they wanted to, and they gave us some ROMs to install the 2.1 Android on it ourselves. We did have some problems with that where we weren't able to get the USB driver working, and at the same time the basic install didn't include an File Explorer app, so we had difficulty actually examining apps and things that we could add from our SDK card or from USB. So that being said, there are some limitations of what we're able to show you today. The good news is, though, over at merrymobiles.com, where they actually sell the product, they told us that they'll be shipping the product with a factory installed Android 2.1 on the device. You won't have to do that yourself. The USB drivers, all that stuff will be sorted for you. So if you're buying the product, you'll have a slightly even better version than what we're dealing with. So this is what your basic install of Android 2.1 on the device looks like. Again, the factory install that you get with the purchase version of this product probably include a few more applications and a little bit more. But to give you a basic idea about performance, you can see one of the things that's immediately apparent with an Android 2.1 implementation is there's a lot more responsiveness and snappiness to all of the touch of the device. It's still a resistive touchscreen, so you can expect that. You have to apply maybe a little bit more pressure than you would have to say an iPad, but the transitions and the basic movement between opening and closing apps are much smoother and a little bit more polished, more Apple-like, I guess, if you will. And I think that's definitely for under $200. These products are really going to find their place in the hearts and minds of people out there. That's a much needed and very appreciated improvement. So while we're looking at the device, let's open up something interesting here like the gallery. Pops up, we've got our test images that we've already included on the SD card. While we're not able to view that through the File Explorer system, the product does recognize the SD card, of course, and you can see we've got some images there. Now, what they've done on the device actually is installed it's a Cool Iris software solution, and if you remember, Cool Iris as a plugin on your Firefox, it enables you to scroll through images and manipulate them and move them around and basically search through kind of an interesting interface of a gallery on your browser. Works pretty much the same here on your device. One of the other applications that's included out of the basic install is also the music. Now, the music player, as is typical with all the Android, is pretty much the same. It does recognize our test music that we put on the SD card, which is great, and it will play that music as well. Let's see how quickly it's moving through all those different functions there. Now, right now we're playing the actual song by Coldplay. Now, one of the disappointments I would say with the device is the speaker sound and level isn't as good as we would like, and I'm not sure if that's something that can be fixed with a software update or not, or on the other Android installation that you'll be getting when you're buying it, if that's improved or not. But I would just say the speaker sound quality is okay, but very low for us. It's fine when you put the headphones on, and that's great, so you can experience it that way. But actually, I think the speaker quality could have been louder. We would have been happier with that. Transitioning again through the different pieces, you can see it's running nice and smoothly, back and forth from our widget page, which we have over here. The device really just runs like a dream. Actually, for under $200, we were really surprised, and that's a big credit to Android 2.1, of course, and Texas Instruments OMOP processor, a 600 megahertz Cortex A8 processor in there. So we're really pleased with that part. Let's move on to one of the other things we were able to do with the device, which of course is quite important, is browsing. Everybody's been asking about what the browsing capability of this device is like, because last year in November when it was released, there was some questions about how well the browsing experience was. It wasn't really that great at that time. And I think that's one of the other places where we've been able to see some real key performance improvements. We'll get off of Google, which always seems to play nice on all of these devices, but let's go and see what we can do to bring in some CNN. As usual, we've got our ultra speedy in-house Wi-Fi connection turtling away here to bring up the device, or bring up the page, but let's take a look at that as it comes up. Come on, you can do it. To be fair, I did have this at home on another Wi-Fi connection, and it was faster on that Wi-Fi than it is on the Wi-Fi in here. But you can see now the page is actually loading up quite nice. It's going through fairly quickly. I think the pages fit nicely on the device. The other thing is, now you can see with a double tap, similar to the iPhone, iOS 4 and previous versions of Apple software, when you double tap on an area, it brings that area into more view and actually makes it more prominent on the display. So when you're reading an article, especially one that's been designed to play on a mobile interface, a little double tap brings up that area into focus, makes it a little bit easier to focus on that article. And one of the strange things about all of these devices is that I found the typing was more of a, I was finding myself with the thumb style typing going on. It wasn't working too badly, having to press down hard on resistive touchscreen, not as smooth as something like an iPhone or an iPad, for example. But this device, I have to say, has by far the most responsive keyboard that we've come across so far. And I think that's, again, an improvement on the side of Android 2.1, probably also some credit, again, going to the processor on that and the RAM on this device. I think really it's been a very simple to use interface. As always, we know the keyboard now, we're familiar with that really well, and just really when you touch the letters, they come up right away, they pop up really quickly. There's not any delay and lag time. Some of the other devices, when you're actually typing away, there was a little bit of a lag time, and that made a little bit of a difficulty more in typing as you're waiting to see if it's actually typing in what you do. There's always that doubt when you're first beginning with the mobile device that when you're punching a key, is that really what's happening on the screen and on the keyboard? But for this device, we find that the keyboard is really responsive and you lose that doubt very quickly and you're able to just bang away on the keyboard. So that's a really, really big improvement, especially for you those who are doing a lot of input on your device. A couple of downsides about the device I did want to mention. Earlier we talked about the speaker quality is not as loud as we'd like to have seen. One of the other things I have to say is there's no camera on the device. Right now, a lot of even the entry-level tablets are offering a camera, and I think that's a bit disappointing for this device because it would be the complete package with the web camera as part of the deal as well. I don't think that's an essential thing for the product, depending what you're going to use it for. Really, our usability and the people we talk to, most of the people are using it for social networking, getting onto their Facebook while they're commuting on the subway, reading the web stuff, surfing around the internet mostly, watching a little bit of video and listening to music on it. Those seem to be the key functions. But a webcam would be nice as well to add that in there. The picture, as we showed earlier, in the gallery functionality is really great. It would be nice to have, especially maybe a front-facing camera here to get onto some of the video applications now, thanks to Apple repopularizing the idea, I should add, that everybody in the world should be video conferencing. The Wi-Fi connection we mentioned is, we have a problem with that here internally, but actually that seems to work quite well on this device. Having it at home, playing with it, we were really impressed with that Wi-Fi ability. And then probably the last thing I want to go into again, and we touched on this a little bit in the first video, is the battery. Going back onto the back side of the device, one of the things you'll note is it's got a easily removable battery on the back side here, and it's a 3000 milliamp battery. It's removable. It's Wits' own branded battery, so I'm not really sure where that comes from or why this one is such good quality. But one of the things that we noted about it was we left it on in sleep mode all weekend while I was away this weekend, and there was very little battery leakage, only a small usage of battery to keep it going, which is very impressive for a Shanzai device. And actual usage time, we're looking at well over 3 hours with the device while we played around with it and we're fooling around listening to music, pictures, and surfing the web and just leaving it on to basically play around with it and test it before we made the video. Now, what we're not seeing here today in this video is I haven't been able to show you video performance. There's not a media player on the basic installation of Android, and while we were able to download some applications from the web, we weren't able to fire them up. Unfortunately, that's something that's we're told has been taken care of for the actual build of Android that's being installed on the production versions. We'll give you an update on that if that's as we know more about that, but we're not able to show you video performance on here. The only thing I could say in testament for that part is if you go on the web and you do a little searching, even back in November when people were reviewing this device, running it onto Windows CE at that time, the video performance was excellent. In conclusion, what we'd like to say about this device is this is the Android 2.1 implementation on the Wits A81E makes it the best performance product that we've been able to have in our hands for review so far today.